What if I told you that when a man feels hurt by a woman pulling away, he's not just dealing with her choice, but with something deeper inside her, something even she doesn't fully understand. It's not just about what she says or does. There's a hidden pattern running in the background, something automatic, like a script she follows without knowing it. Freud spent his life digging into the parts of the mind we try to ignore, the secret reasons behind what people do. And pretending it's not there doesn't protect you, it just leaves you confused and blaming yourself. But when you see what's really going on, you stop taking her distance so personally. You stop falling apart every time she changes. Instead, you start thinking like someone who finally sees the truth behind the mask. She didn't seem like the others. There was something in her eyes, steady, kind, like she really saw you. Her voice was gentle, her words full of meaning. She promised loyalty, honesty, respect, like someone who had been broken before and finally wanted something real. And you believed her. You let your guard down. You gave her your time, your trust, your heart. You tuned out the doubts, left the past behind, and told yourself this one was different. And for a while, it felt true. She held your hand like it mattered. She looked at you like she knew you. She spoke like every word came from somewhere honest. Then, like cold air out of nowhere, she shifted. Her messages turned short. Her energy slipped away. The warmth you counted on vanished without warning. She said she was tired, busy, had too much going on. And then, nothing. No goodbye, no explanation. Just silence. And there you were, sitting with the weight of it, going over every memory, wondering what you missed, what you did wrong. But if Freud could sit beside you, he'd say it wasn't something you did. It was something deeper inside her, a quiet part of her mind she doesn't even fully understand, that made her pull back. She might have truly believed she was ready for love, ready for something calm, stable, real. And in that moment, she probably meant every word. But her words weren't the full truth. Because underneath them, there's another layer, a hidden world made of old pain, quiet fears, and deep urges she's never faced. Freud called this the unconscious. It's the part of the mind that runs the show when no one's looking. That's why her actions don't match her promises. You're trying to understand her with logic, but logic doesn't work here. This isn't about reason. It's about the shadows, the parts of her shaped by things she doesn't talk about. And for many women, those shadows are louder than they think. So while she spoke of building something real, her actions slowly told a different story. She might have talked about loyalty, but a part of her was drawn to chaos. She may have dreamed of forever, but something deep inside her longed for the rush, the unknown, the thrill. That pull isn't something she always notices, but it moves her just the same. Sometimes it grows so strong, she walks away without fully understanding why. And that's what leaves you confused. Not because she meant to mislead you, but because she never fully saw the storm inside her. She wasn't lying to you, she was lost in a lie she told herself. This isn't about blaming her or turning her into the villain. It's about seeing clearly so you don't keep getting hurt by illusions. Because if you keep listening to just her words, you'll keep missing the truth hidden in her patterns. You'll keep trusting a voice that sounds honest, but isn't in control. Freud's harshest truth wasn't meant to hurt, it was meant to wake us up. Most of what we do doesn't come from conscious choice. The idea that we're all in control is comforting, but it's not real. And in women, especially, much of what drives them is rooted in silent shame, deep, hidden feelings that twist their choices without them even realizing it. Men are haunted by guilt, we break ourselves over what we've done. But women, they're often shaped by shame, not for what they did, but for what it might make them look like. So when she acts, it's not always about what's right or wrong. It's about what helps her stay accepted, safe, unseen in the wrong light. Her choices are less about values and more about survival. That's why even when she's holding your face, saying she wants something real, something lasting, there can be a part of her already slipping away. Not because she's lying, because her instincts start running when peace feels too still. Her body moves through cycles that even she doesn't fully notice. One week, she feels connected, alive, craving your presence. The next, she's distant, cold, like something's shut off inside her. She might say she's not feeling the same anymore, but the truth is, it's not her heart that changed. It's the quiet shift in her hormones, the invisible wave that changes how she sees you, how she feels. It's not personal. It's chemistry. And while you're busy searching for what you did wrong, the real shift happened deep in her biology, something neither of you could control. What you're really up against isn't just who she is now, it's the weight of her past. Deep inside her mind lives what Freud named the mother complex. If as a child she learned that love is something that disappears or hurts, that fear stays with her, guiding her actions without her even knowing. And if you, too, grew up trying to earn your mother's love or approval, you might have been unknowingly taught to accept confusion and pain as part of love. That's why you keep finding yourself drawn to the people who cause you pain, believing that love always comes wrapped in doubt and uncertainty. Even the women who say they're searching for peace often carry a hidden restlessness deep inside. You meet one who talks like she's lived through storms, she quotes books, shares thoughtful ideas, and speaks with gentle wisdom. She promises she's over the drama, ready for honesty and real connection. You trust her words. But as time passes, something shifts. Her voice loses its spark. Her eyes no longer shine with the same warmth. The way she reaches for you changes, less eager, more distant. Then, without warning, she quietly slips away, leaving you with the familiar line, "It's not you, it's me." But the harsh reality, it was actually you, because you gave her exactly what she claimed to want. And that's where everything went wrong. You believed she fully knew what she needed. Freud would have disagreed, knowing well that true desire doesn't arise from logic or clear thinking. It comes from the unconscious, the deep, hidden part of the mind that exists before we even learn to speak. She says she wants kindness, warmth, and gentle care, but deep inside, what truly draws her attention might be something very different: power, confidence, unpredictability. It's not that she's shallow or cruel, rather, these traits are wired into her because, long ago, they were essential for survival. In a world where strength meant the difference between life and death, women developed a natural ability to read dominance, resilience, and boldness, not just softness or tenderness. These instincts, shaped over countless generations, remain deeply embedded in her biology. Even though the world around her has shifted toward calm and cooperation, her unconscious still reacts to those primal signals, creating a silent conflict between what she says she wants and what her body instinctively seeks. When you gave her peace and stability, she might have felt safe in the moment, but deep down, something inside her wasn't fully awake. Safety alone can't spark the fire that her instincts are wired to crave. What truly sets her soul on fire isn't comfort or predictability. It's the rush of challenge, the pull of risk, and the allure of the unknown. There's an ancient part of her mind that's drawn to uncertainty because it signals life, growth, and change. This is why, even when a man treats her coldly or with distance, someone who doesn't offer kindness or warmth, he can still hold a powerful place in her thoughts and feelings. It's not that he's better or more deserving, but because he triggers something buried deep within her, an old, primal energy that's tied to survival and attraction. This energy doesn't respond to softness or ease, it awakens only when stirred by unpredictability and intensity. And until you understand this, it can feel like you're losing her for reasons that don't make sense. She might come across as mature, calm, and rational, someone who's thoughtful, evolved, and in control of her emotions. She talks about progress, about growth, about being above old patterns. But beneath that polished, intellectual exterior, Freud believed there's always another side to every woman, one that most never fully see or understand. He said that every woman lives as if she has two selves. The first self is the face she shows the world, kind, nurturing, composed, the part that fits into society's rules and expectations. But lurking beneath this is the shadow self, wild, untamed, raw with emotion and instinct. It's chaotic and unpredictable, a part she often tries to hide or push down because it doesn't fit the image she wants to present. This shadow side doesn't vanish, it lingers quietly in the background, watching and waiting for the moment when the calm surface cracks. And when that moment comes, when the pressure of hiding becomes too much, this shadow self bursts forth, sometimes gently, sometimes fiercely, and changes everything in a way that can feel sudden and shocking. That's why the quiet, reserved girl, who seems so composed on the outside, can harbor wild, untamed fantasies deep inside her mind. It's why the strong, independent woman, who proudly claims she doesn't need anyone, still secretly aches for a man who won't bend to her will, who challenges her in ways she can't explain. It's why the sweet, devoted partner, the one who seems loyal and trusting, sometimes dreams of surrendering herself completely to someone she doesn't fully trust, a paradox that puzzles many. This isn't about weakness or corruption, it's the complicated truth of what it means to be human. What we push down, hide, or deny doesn't simply disappear. Instead, it changes form, lurking beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to resurface in ways we can't control or predict. And when that hidden part finally breaks free, it doesn't ask for permission or explanation, it just bursts out, raw and real, reshaping the way we see ourselves and those around us. This duality means you're never truly with just one woman, you're navigating the complexities of two distinct selves intertwined in one. One side craves peace, stability, and calm, a place where she can feel safe and understood. But the other side, she lives for the electric charge of tension, the push and pull of power struggles, the intoxicating rush of feeling both vulnerable and overwhelmed. This isn't about making sense or following reason, it's a deep, primal dance rooted in survival instincts wired into her emotions. These opposing forces constantly pull her in different directions, creating a storm beneath the surface that shapes how she loves, fights, and ultimately, who she becomes. Understanding this is key, because when you realize you're engaging with both sides, you start to see beyond the surface, beyond her words, and into the raw, emotional truth driving her every move. That's why she often finds herself drawn to the men who mistreats her, not because she wants pain, but because the chaos he brings sets off a powerful storm inside her brain. The wild ups and downs trigger a surge of chemicals: dopamine, the spark of pleasure and reward; cortisol, the stress hormone that heightens alertness; and oxytocin, the bonding chemical that ties her emotionally to him, even in the hardest moments. This cocktail creates an addictive cycle, a relentless craving not for the man himself, but for the intense emotional roller coaster he unleashes. When you step in with steadiness, offering kindness, reliability, and calm predictability, her brain doesn't respond the same way. The rush is gone. Instead of excitement, she feels a strange emptiness, a quiet that confuses her because it lacks the chaotic pulse her body has come to expect. It's not about what she consciously wants, it's about what her mind and body are wired to crave, and that craving is often far from peace. You become the safe harbor she once longed for, the steady place she thought would finally bring her peace and comfort. But instead of relief, she feels a strange kind of boredom creeping in. It's not because you aren't enough or because you're lacking in any way. The truth is, her body isn't sparked or awakened by safety and trust alone. Deep down, it craves something far more complicated, something wild and unpredictable that stirs both desire and fear. She's not being dishonest when she says she wants stability, she truly does. But beneath that conscious wish lies a tangled web of instincts and emotions pulling her in the opposite direction. She's caught in a confusing tug of war, torn between the woman she consciously wants to become, the one who seeks calm and loyalty, and the primal, instinctive part of her that is drawn to risk, intensity, and chaos. This internal conflict isn't something she can simply choose to fix or ignore. It shapes her actions, decisions, and the very way she experiences love, leaving her lost somewhere between what she hopes for and what her deepest nature demands. Freud understood this long before modern science could fully explain it. He saw how powerful unconscious desires truly are, the hidden forces that tug people toward qualities we don't always understand or expect. These aren't just any traits, they are the dark, magnetic ones: confidence that commands attention, cunning that outsmarts danger, and control that shapes outcomes. These characteristics didn't gain appeal because they were bad or evil. Instead, they were deeply attractive because, in the harsh world of our ancestors, they were the traits that meant survival and success. A person who was confident, clever, and in control had a better chance of protecting themselves and their family, of finding resources, and of rising above threats. And even now, in a world far removed from those ancient struggles, those instincts remain buried deep inside us, echoes of a time when such qualities literally meant life or death. Freud saw that these primal pulls still shape who we are, influencing attraction, behavior, and even the choices we make in love, long after the dangers that created them have faded. So when she chooses danger over peace, it's not because she's consciously rejecting love or stability. Deep down, she's surrendering to something much older: her biology, her instincts, the hidden forces wired into her mind and body long before she learned what love even meant. This choice isn't a rebellion, it's a silent, automatic response to something she barely understands herself. The hardest part is that she often doesn't even realize why she's drawn to chaos instead of calm. She might feel a deep well of shame, confusion, and even self-loathing bubbling inside, but instead of confronting those painful feelings, she pushes them away and projects them onto you. She tells you that you were too much, or that she simply changed, or that the spark between you disappeared. But the truth is far more complicated and heartbreaking. What she really fears is that if she looks too closely, or worse, if you do, someone will see the hidden part of her she's desperate to keep buried. The part that feels broken, vulnerable, or lost. The part she doesn't even want to admit exists. This fear is what drives her away long before she physically leaves, and why her departure feels so sudden, so painful, and so impossible to explain. And if you ever get close enough to see that hidden part of her, the fragile, scared, messy pieces she keeps locked away, she won't stay. It's not because she doesn't want love or connection. On the contrary, she craves it more than anything. But love, with all its honesty and intimacy, has a way of stripping away the masks she's carefully built over the years. When she feels truly safe, the walls come down, and she's forced to face the chaos, the pain, and the confusion lurking deep inside her soul. That kind of peace is terrifying because it means confronting parts of herself she hasn't learned to accept yet. And so, instead of standing in that vulnerability, she retreats. She pulls away before you can get too close, slipping quietly into the shadows where she feels safer. She disappears, rewrites the story in her mind, reshaping reality to shield her from the risk of being truly seen and truly known. It's not betrayal, it's self-preservation. And until she's ready to face that inner storm, she will keep running from the very thing her heart secretly longs for. Not because she's cruel or heartless, but because deep down, she's terrified of the dark parts of herself that she keeps hidden away. She's afraid of the shadow living inside, the messy, complicated emotions and fears that don't fit the picture she wants the world to see. The fear isn't just about being judged by others, it's the terror of being truly seen, fully exposed with all her imperfections laid bare. She worries that if someone stays close enough, if they stick around long enough, they'll uncover the whole story, that she's not just the woman who longs for love and connection, but also the one who's never really learned how to accept or receive that love without fear or resistance. It's a battle between the desire to be known and the instinct to protect herself from the vulnerability that comes with it. And until she can reconcile those two parts, she'll keep guarding her heart with silence and distance, hoping Northwest One gets close enough to find the truth she's afraid to face herself.